Okay, boys and girls, we are going to take a look at what you need to do for social studies with 3.5, the Harlem Renaissance. You're going to start by going to your social studies course. Under the HTS supplemental resources, you'll find Module 3, Federal Expansion. We're still working in Module 3. We're on Lesson 3.5, the Harlem Renaissance. So we're going to click on that. Lesson 3.5, the Harlem Renaissance. And here you are. Here's your lesson. You've got the title here, Lesson 3.5, and you've got some guiding questions. During the Great Migration, the Harlem Renaissance occurred. What was the Harlem Renaissance and why was it important to American history? And then this is just a reminder that your answers for the assessment sheets must come from the videos and the articles that are in this lesson for credit. You cannot be Googling the answers. This is where you're going to find all your answers, is in these links. Okay, and please practice the life skill of integrity to complete the lessons in their entirety. All right, and then it's broken up into steps. Step 1, you're going to take out your KWLH chart. This is the same chart that you've been working in every lesson in Module 3. It started at the beginning with 3.1a, and it's carried on through each lesson in Module 3. You're going to continue to add to this chart. That's why the chart was 5 pages, and that's why I kind of encourage you to do this in your notebook. You're going to do that with each lesson, and at the end, you'll be turning it in. So for step 1, you're going to complete the K and the W columns by writing the things that you know and the things that you want to know about the Harlem Renaissance. So at the beginning here, you're going to do the K and the W of your KWLH chart. Step 2, you're going to read the article, The Harlem Renaissance, or listen to the article read aloud, and you can click to hear it being read by clicking on this link to get an overview of the time period. Here on the Harlem Renaissance assessment sheet, which is also attached below, you're going to answer question 1 after you read or listen to this article. So you can click here to get the assessment, 3.51 assessment. It's a 2-page assessment, just taking a second to load. Okay, so you can get it here to print it out or screenshot it, or if you scroll the bottom, it's also here under attachments. So for some reason, if this link doesn't work, just scroll down and it's attached here, 3.5 assessment. Okay, all right, so step 2, you are reading the article, The Harlem Renaissance, or you're listening to it, and then you're going to answer question 1 on the assessment page. So let's look at what question 1 is. Question 1, in 1 or 2 sentences, explain what the Harlem Renaissance was and why it was so important. So on these lines, you're going to write 1 or 2 sentences explaining what the Harlem Renaissance was and why it was important. Make sure you hit both of those questions. What was it and why was it important? So to get full credit, you got to answer both those parts. It might be easier just to do 2 sentences. The sentence for what the Harlem Renaissance was, a second sentence of why it was important. Okay, so that's step 2. Step 3, you're going to watch the video, The Harlem Renaissance, which is linked right here, and you're going to complete question 2, which is a 4-square thinking cube, graphic organizer, to show what you've learned from the video. So let's go look at question 2. Question 2 is a 4-square thinking cube. Here's the 4-square thinking cube. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 4 questions. It's also labeled here, the Harlem Renaissance video. So you've got 4 questions to go along with the video. First question, what is the Harlem Renaissance? Second question, who was involved in the Harlem Renaissance? Third question, what was the ultimate impact? Meaning, when this Harlem Renaissance happened, what was the impact of it? What were the effects of it? And then what interesting fact did you learn? So just what is one fact that you learned about the Harlem Renaissance? So you might want to watch the video 1, 2, 3 times to get these questions done. All right, that was step 3. Step 4, think about what you've learned about the Harlem Renaissance and complete questions 3 through 5 on the assessment sheet. So now we're going to look at 3 through 5. Answer the following questions in 3 to 4 complete sentences. So number 3, you need 3 to 4 sentences. Number 4, 3 to 4 sentences. Number 5, 3 to 4 sentences. And let's look at the questions. Number 3, how did the Harlem Renaissance shape American culture? Another way to ask this question is, what impact did it have on American art, literature, and music? Now, you can get this answer from the video and from the reading that you did for number 1. So think back to the resources that you explored and answer that question. How did the Harlem Renaissance shape American culture? And a guiding question to help you, what impact did it have on American art, literature, music, writing, reading? Okay, so what effects did it have on our culture? And you're going to answer that question in how many sentences? 3 to 4 complete sentences. If you have one sentence here, you're not going to get full credit. Number 4, would you like to have lived during this time period? Yes or no? Why or why not? Explain yourself. If you say yes, you would love to live during this time period, tell me why. If you said no, I don't think I'd want to live during this time period, tell me why. Explain. And again, how many sentences? 3 to 4 complete sentences for number 4. And then number 5, do you see influences of the Harlem Renaissance in American pop culture today? Explain. And 3 to 4 sentences, do you see the influence of Harlem Renaissance in what we see in today's culture? Okay, and you're going to answer that in 3 to 4 sentences. Okay, so that's your assignment. Step 5 is you're going to submit the assignment for grading. You're not submitting your KWLH chart. You're submitting this 3.5 assessment. Okay, and then step 6, you're completing the L and the H columns, including what you learned about the Harlem Renaissance in your interactive social studies notebook, or if you printed out that KWLH chart, you can just continue adding to it. All right, when you're done with this 2-page assessment right here, this 3.5 assessment, those 5 questions right here, when you're done, you're going to submit them right here by clicking on the plus arrow that you'll have on your screen and submitting your work.